Dear students, welcome back to Odelia Vlogs. So today we are studying Module 3, Module 4 and Module 5. I will teach you in 3 sessions. So we completed Module 1 in 7 parts. You have to study the 7 parts, very important, but you need not to study hackathon experiments in detail. As I told you in class, you just study what are the findings found during hackathon experiments. You study that, then Peter F. Drucker's MBO, that's very important, management by objectives. Chester Bernard, if you have more easy, if it is text, you just study the textbook only. Anyway, I gave you that in detail because you have to know the concepts about the different thinkers who contributed to management, and that's why I gave you in a detailed form. So you have to study about Henry Fayol's. It's very, very important, administrative management. I gave you a mnemonic. I see you, Dad, use roses. Okay, study that. Then you have to study F.W. Taylor's scientific management. Then functions of management. These are all very important. All the 5 parts you have to refer. Then module 2 I completed in 2 parts, that is planning and rational decision making. Study that. Now we can study organizing, and I will give you a quick revision only because we are not elaborating the points. You have your exam on February 28th and I was focusing on S3 only, the subject research methodology. I forgot about your exam that will come so soon. Anyway, we can complete the session. In 3 sessions, I will complete Module 3, Module 4 and Module 5. And today, in this video, I am focusing on organizing. So, all the best for your exam. Study very well. You should study all the subjects, statistics, maths, English, PMM and accountancy. You should score very good marks. Okay, all the best, students. Dear students, we can study Module 3, Organizing. Today's contents are meaning of organizing, process, organization structure and its types, importance of organizing, delegation of authority, significance, process of delegation, centralization and decentralization of authority. First of all, we have to know what is organizing. What is organization? Do you know? Organization represents a group of people who work together for the achievement of common objectives. So, what is organizational structure? Organizational structure is the backbone of all the operating procedures and workflows at any company. It determines the place and the role of each employee in the business and is the key to organizational development. By organizing, managers bring together manpower and material resources together with the financial resources for the achievement of the objectives of the enterprise. So, organizing means dividing into different activities, and each activities are organized together in such a way that the accomplishment of objectives are achieved in the organization. Now we can go to the next session, that is definition. It's very important definition. The process of identifying and grouping the work to be performed, defining and delegating responsibility and authority, and establishing relationships for the purpose of enabling people to work most effectively together in accomplishing objectives. Now we can study the process of organizing. The first step is knowledge of objectives. While organizing, it's important to bear in mind the objectives or targets of the enterprise or the department. The objectives must be determined keeping in view the environmental situation. They must be very clear and precise, but complete and free from ambiguity or any confusion. Second step, division of work into activities. After laying down the objectives, the manager must identify the total work involved in achieving them. The total work to be performed should be divided into component activities. For instance, the total work of a manufacturing enterprise may be divided into production, finance, personnel, management, then marketing, etc. Third step is grouping the activities. The next step is to group the various activities into practical units based on similarity and importance, as well as to indicate the person who would do the work. Similar activities should be grouped together under one heading. For instance, purchasing, machining, assembling may be placed together under manufacturing. Fourth step is defining and assigning activities into jobs. Jobs must be clearly defined and the activities related to them must be clearly identified and assigned. This will help the management to fix the authority and responsibility of the employees concerned. Next step is fitting personnel into jobs. A job must be allotted to a properly qualified person so that it will ensure certainty of work performance due to his competence. Each person should be assigned specific jobs and made responsible for it. Next step is delegation of required authority. Proper authority must be vested in the personnel to enable them to carry out the job. Authority must be commensurate with responsibility. Authority without responsibility and vice versa is meaningless and futile. Next step is creating organizational relationships. Creation of different authority relationships such as line, functional or line and staff is essential for the achievement of objectives. Everyone in the organization must know as to whom he is accountable, and his relation with other persons in the organization should be clearly established. Now we can study the next, that is organizational structure. Actually, I gave you the meaning of organizational structure at the beginning. Now we can study each and every organization structure. You will have an essay question. Either write or elaborate all the different organization structures, or you will be given a specific one, line or line and staff, functional, and so and so. So we can study the first one, line organization. Line organization refers to the direct relationship between a superior and his subordinates. It is by force of line authority that a superior commands his subordinates. Its advantages and disadvantages are very important. It's just like a military or scalar organization because it is originated in the army. There is a direct vertical relationship through which authority flows from the top to the bottom. The quantum of authority is highest at the top and reduces at each successive level down the hierarchy. There will be a superior-subordinate relationship here, and the superior delegates authority to a subordinate, and who in turn delegates authority to another subordinate, and so on, forming a line from the top to the very bottom level. I think you understood. Now we can study the important advantages and disadvantages. Very, very important you have to study. First one is every member knows to whom he is responsible. Second advantage is every member has a definite and fixed responsibility. Third one, it is very simple because the employees are easy to establish their authority because they know whom they are responsible to. Next is there will be great discipline because since the men at lower levels are directly responsible to one authority, there will be great discipline. Next advantage is it facilitates quick and prompt decisions as the authority and responsibility are unified. Another advantage is it is flexible and adjustable to changing conditions. Next, it is easy to coordinate different activities in the organization. And the last advantage is it ensures unity of control by conforming to the scalar principle of the organization. Next, disadvantages of line organization. First one is overload of duties. That is a great disadvantage because it overloads a few executives with difficult duties. Too much is expected of the persons in authority. They do not get time for innovations and independent thinking. Second disadvantage is it discourages large-scale cooperation as undue importance is given to one executive. Next, lack of specialization. There is no scope for specialization of any type. But specialization is inevitable in modern business due to its complex nature. Another disadvantage is scope for favoritism. Some persons will be favorite and there will be nepotism also, and inefficient people will get high salary because they are favorite of the superior. So that is another drawback. Another one is lack of communication. There is no communication from lower ranks to the higher. So correct information cannot be obtained. So that is a very great disadvantage. Now we can study functional organization. Functional organization was first introduced by F.W. Taylor, father of scientific management. Under functional organization, the organization is divided into a number of functional areas, and each function is managed by functional expert in that area. For example, production department is there is a production manager there. Marketing department is managed by marketing manager. Then like that, financial department by financial manager, and so on. Okay, I think you understood. And personal department by HR manager. Every functional area serves all other areas in the organization. For example, the purchase department handles purchases for all departments. Within a functional department, every operating executive receives orders from several functional specialists. For example, each foreman in the factory receives orders from factory superintendent, chief engineer, chemist, etc. Again, you have to study the advantages and disadvantages. That's very important. Advantages of functional organization. First one is specialization. It is based on the principle of division of labor, which enables the concern, that is the organization, to take advantage of the specialization of functions. Second one is it ensures a separation of manual and mental functions. Third one, it facilitates a higher degree of efficiency. Fourth advantage is mass production is possible due to specialization and standardization. The last advantage is there is a greater scope for achieving cooperation. Disadvantages of functional organization are: first one, lack of discipline. Since the workers work under different bosses, it is difficult to maintain discipline among the workers. Another drawback is, since there is narrow specialization among executives, it is difficult to develop them into all-round executives. Third drawback is speed of performance is very often hindered. Fourth one, it may lead to conflict among foremen of equal ranks. Last advantage, it is very difficult for the management to fix responsibility for unsatisfactory results. Now we can go to the line and staff organization. It is both a combination of line and functional structures. The line and staff system divides the work of administration of business units into two broad divisions, viz. Line, which is responsible for the actual performance of work, and staff, which is responsible for planning. Now, in line organization, authority flows in a vertical line as in the line organization. In addition, staff specialists are attached to line positions to advise them on important matters. Then, the specialists do not have any power of command over subordinates in other departments. They just have to advise. Their role is only advisor. Okay. Now we can come to the advantages of line and staff organization. It is based on the principle of specialization, and it helps the enterprise make use of benefits of specialization of functions. Second advantage is expert advice. It provides the benefit of expert advice to the line management. Then there is individual responsibility in line and staff authority. Next is opportunity for promotion is there. And there is much training ground. The services of the staff are excellent training medium for the line officers. The disadvantages of line and staff organization is, first one, confusion. There is possibility for confusion throughout the organization as to the functions and positions of staff managers in relation to line supervisors. The staff may be ineffective for lack of authority to carry out its functions. That is the second drawback. Third drawback is certain line officers rely too much on staff to do the thinking and planning. This weakens the capacity of line officers. Then the fourth drawback is there will be misinterpretation. The line officers may misunderstand and misinterpret the advice of the staff. And the fifth drawback is objection of line officers. Sometimes the line officers may object to the activities of staff members due to the feeling that the prestige and influence of the linemen suffer from the presence of specialists. So these are the disadvantages of line and staff organization. It's very important. It's usually asked as an essay question. Now we can study the next one, that is project organization. That will not come for an essay question, but it will be asked for section 2 or section A or section B. Okay. Project organization is of recent origin, which developed after World War II. When an organization has to execute large projects of long duration, it may adopt a project organization. A project is a unique and complex cluster of activities designed around a distinct mission and a specific time frame. A project team consists of specialists in different fields. The activities of project team members are coordinated by a project manager who is responsible for the successful completion of the project. When a project is completed, the project division undertakes a new project. So in this case, advantages or disadvantages are not asked usually. So you need not study the advantages and disadvantages of project organization. Next, we can study matrix organization. That is asked again in section A and section B. What is a matrix organization? It's a hybrid grid structure wherein pure project organization is superimposed on a functional structure. It combines vertical and horizontal lines of authority. Matrix organization has been widely used in engineering, research, and product management areas. It is a two-dimensional pattern developed to meet the problems of growing size and complexity of undertakings. It can be successful only when the roles of project and functional managers are clearly defined. Next, you have to study committee organization. That is very important, and you have to study the advantages and disadvantages of committee organization. So I will read the slide. A committee is a group of persons formed to discuss and deliberate on problems and to recommend or decide solutions. Its area of operation is determined by its constitution. It may be constituted at any level of organization, and its members may be drawn from various departments. It may be authorized to deal with all or specific functions or activities. Members of the committee have authority to go into the details of the problem. Committees may be temporary or permanent in nature. There are different types of committees, just like ad hoc committee, that is just formed for a specific task, and after the task is completed, the group is dispersed and the committee is no more existing. And similarly, a committee, PTA committee is in our college there's a PTA committee again, that's for a particular matter, and after that it is dispersed, and so and so. That's a committee. Now we have to study the advantages. First one, in a committee organization, there is a pooling of knowledge and experience because a collective knowledge of different persons that will solve many difficult problems. Also, the experience of the number of persons in the committee. These will solve many difficult problems. Second advantage is motivation through participation. Committees allow employees to participate in decision-making process. Thus, they help to improve the loyalty and commitment of employees. Then, committee organization is a tool of coordination. They serve as an important tool of unifying and integrating various viewpoints by bringing different departmental managers together. Next advantage is representation of diverse interest groups. By giving representation to various interest groups, committee avoids conflicts and improves togetherness of the group. And one more advantage I will give, that is avoids action. A committee acts as a strategy to delay or postpone action and to avoid individual responsibility. Once we take a decision, we will sometimes simply delay it, so that no need to take an action. And also because the committee has a lot of members, at least 10 or 12 members, or at least 5 members, and we will have to delay to avoid the responsibility, so that the people will be blaming on the committee, because the committee has decided, we are not responsible. That's what they can say. Now the disadvantages are, first one, expensive. Committees are expensive both in terms of money and time. They require heavy incidental expenses like printing and stationery, refreshments, etc. Then there is a slow decision. That's another drawback, because a committee tends to be indecisive. Its functioning is very slow and cannot take quick decisions. They will form at least 2 or 3 or 4 meetings, and then only they will come to a quick decision. Then comes compromise decisions. Committees usually take compromise decisions, accommodating opposite viewpoints. Such a decision is only an acceptable decision and not the best one. Sometimes they have to compromise, and for that they will have to deliberately take a decision. And another disadvantage is evasion of responsibility. A committee cannot fix the responsibility for wrong decisions on any individual. This results in inefficiency and evasion of responsibility. Another drawback, and the last drawback, is misuse of committees. Committees are sometimes misused to avoid action, to take unpleasant decisions, or to delay decisions. Now we can study the importance of organizing. That's very, very important question for your exam. First one is proper division of work. Organizing provides proper assessment of total work to be performed and its division among workable departmental units and individuals. Since total work cannot be performed by the manager alone, it must be divided among its staff in a well-planned manner. The person or department in the organization will neither be overworked nor underworked. It thus ensures the optimum use of the staff. Second importance of organizing is optimum use of physical resources. Efficient organizing provides for optimum and economical use of all physical resources such as buildings, machines, tools, materials, finance, etc. Third importance is avoids confusion and misunderstanding. By assigning definite duties and responsibilities, each employee knows his specific mission, duty, authority, and responsibility. Thus, organizing avoids all misunderstandings, confusions, conflicts, etc. Fourth importance brings unity in direction, facilitates control and coordination. Efficient delegation and effective communication system and well-knitted relationships bring unity in command and direction, fixed responsibilities and division of work, and also facilitate control and coordination. Next, increases management efficiency. Good organization assures all-round efficiency by bringing definiteness in all around, matching jobs with individuals by utilizing best skills, experience, abilities and specialization, and by avoiding delays and wastages. Sixth importance is facilitates adoption of new technology. In a rapidly advanced world, changes are bound to take place in the techniques of production, distribution, and manpower management. Only an effective management can foresee such changes and be prepared to face them boldly and intelligently. Maximum benefit can be derived from the introduction of new techniques in any field. The last importance of organizing is encourages creativity. Organizing can discover talents and creativity among its staff like independent thinking, initiative, resourcefulness, spirit of innovation, etc. Now we can go to the next slide, that is delegation of authority. Delegation is an act of vesting self-authority along with responsibility in some other with a specific object. However, the overall authority and responsibility always remains with the manager who delegates his authority. There is a natural human tendency in managers to resist delegation of authority, as the manager may fear that subordinates can possibly do undesirable things with the delegated authority, for which the managers may be held responsible. So delegation of authority is very difficult task for the manager, because once he delegates the authority, whatever happens, it's full his responsibility. In simple words, we can say delegation means assigning work to others and giving them authority to do it. Now we can study the next slide, that is significance of delegation of authority. That's very important for your exam. You have to study each and every points in detail. First one is sharing of workload. Delegation lightens the burden of executives by assigning the routine matters to their subordinates. Thus, the executives can concentrate on more important matters. Next one is quick decision making. The subordinates need not go to their supervisors every time for taking decisions regarding routine matters. Thus, it facilitates quick decision. Third point is motivation. Delegation helps to improve the job satisfaction, motivation, and morale of subordinates. Next is training. It serves as a tool of training executives for the future. This enables the organization to face future challenges efficiently. Another point is expansion of business. Delegation facilitates the expansion and diversification of business through a team of competent and contented workers. Next is specialized knowledge. It enables a manager to obtain the specialized knowledge and expertise of the subordinates. Seventh point is efficient functioning. Delegation provides basis for efficient and effective functioning of the firm by binding the formal organization together. Next point is better performance. It improves the performance of the work because responsibility is given to the subordinates on the basis of specialization. The last significance is better relation. Delegation increases the interaction and understanding among managers and subordinates. Thus, it maintains healthy relations between them. Now we can study very important question for your MG University exam. What is the process of delegation? There are 4 steps. The first step is determination of results expected. A manager has to define the results he wants to obtain from his subordinates for the achievement of organizational objectives. This will enable the subordinate to know by what standards his performance will be evaluated. Second step, assignment of duties. The manager assigns specific duties to each subordinate. While assigning the duties and responsibilities, he must ensure that the subordinates understand and accept their duties. Moreover, the assignment of responsibilities may be done on the basis of qualifications, experience, and aptitude of the subordinates. Third step, granting of authority. The delegator also grants authority to his subordinates for the performance of the assigned work. The subordinate cannot discharge their responsibilities without adequate authority. Authority enables the subordinates to use resources, to take decisions, and to exercise discretion. Fourth point, creating accountability for performance. Delegation creates accountability on the part of the subordinates for the assigned work. The subordinates are answerable to the delegator for the proper performance of the assigned work and for the exercise of the delegated authority. However, the extent of accountability depends upon the extent of delegation of authority and responsibility. You have to study delegation. It's very, very important question. Now we can go to centralization of authority. That is also very important. Centralization of authority and decentralization of authority. What is the difference between centralization of authority and decentralization of authority? These are all very, very important for your exam. Centralization refers to the centralization and decentralization. This both refers to the location of decision-making authority in an organization. In a centralized authority or centralization of authority refers to the authority, the concentration of authority at the top level of the organization. There will be no delegation because all power is vested in the top level. Whatever the top level management says or orders, the bottom level should obey. That's what centralization of authority. That's very easy because we no need to know any rules and regulations because all will be given from the top level. We have to just do the same. But mostly it's preferable decentralization of authority in some organizations at least, because that is always good, because decentralization is an extension of the concept of delegation. It means scattering of authority throughout the organization. It implies that decision-making authority is spread throughout the organization. It is optional in the sense that top management may or may not disperse authority. We can go to again centralization. I will say the merits of centralization. It's very, very important. It's usually asked for your exam. First point is it provides power and prestige to the central authority. The chief executive gets more power, prestige and feeling of importance. Second advantage is centralization of authority results in greater uniformity of policy making, practices and decisions. Another advantage is centralization binds all parts of the organization together to attain the common goals of the organization. Fourth point, centralized authority ensures the uniformity in action. For some matters, all units have to act the same way. Example, advertising, personnel policy, etc. Fifth advantage is duplication of activities. Functions can be minimized. Next, demerits of centralization of authority. First one, centralized structure increases the burden on the top executives and hampers the worth and development of managers and executives. Second disadvantage is centralized authority does not offer any scope for the subordinates' participation in management. Third drawback, it lowers the morale, interest and initiative and the enthusiasm at the lower levels because they have no job. All decisions are made by the top level. They have to just execute the orders. They have to just obey the orders executed. Okay. Next, fourth one, it may raise problems of communication of decisions made by the top management, which may adversely affect the subordinates' ability for prompt action. Now we can go to again decentralization. I will say the merits of decentralization. First one, top executives are relieved from burden or workload, as here the subordinates share the burden of decision making and leaves the top executives enough time to control the strategic things. Second merit is under decentralization, the diversification of products, activities and markets, etc. is facilitated. This enables the concern to make up for any losses in certain lines by gains in other lines. Third one, decentralization improves morale and job satisfaction since they are given a large degree of authority and autonomy. Fourth advantage is decentralization gives power, initiative and responsibility to a number of executives. The last advantage is it promotes speed in decision making and avoids confusion. Demerits of decentralization. First one, it increases the administrative cost due to duplication of specialist service and the appointment of capable executives at lower levels. It entails heavy expenditure and duplication of effort at junior levels. Second demerit is it becomes difficult for the top management to exercise control over what people at lower levels are doing or even to know what decisions they are taking. Third one, demerit is lack of coordination in different departments. Another demerit is lack of uniformity in decision making. And the last disadvantage is emergencies cannot be tackled properly. And by this we come to the end of module 3. These are all very important. You do not skip any points because all the topics are important, because it's not a COVID pattern. Before it was a COVID pattern and it was very easy for the previous students. But for in your case, there is no COVID pattern question paper. Section A, you will have 2 marks question. Section B, you will have 5 marks question. And section C, you will have 15 marks. And there will be no much options. So you have to study everything. Don't skip anything. Now we can study the last topic, that is what is the difference between delegation and decentralization. Actually it looks same, but it is very much different. Delegation is a process or an act of devolution of authority, while decentralization is the end result of delegation of authority. Second difference is delegation is essential for management process, while decentralization is optional, as the top management may or may not disperse authority. Third difference, in delegation, the delegator exercises control over the subordinates, while in decentralization, the control may be delegated to the departmental heads. Fourth point, delegation denotes the relationship between a superior and a subordinate, whereas decentralization denotes the relationship between top management and various departments. You have to study all the topics. You should not skip any points, because every points are important in this module 3: organizing, delegation, decentralization, and centralization, merits and demerits. So all the best for your exam. Thank you.